Connor Bedard has once again gone and set another NHL record, as well as a potential trade that we may see the Blackhawks do before this year's trade deadline. Now, I'm going to be going over all of this in this video, but before we get into all of that, we noticed that only about a quarter of you guys are subscribed to the channel right now. So if you're looking to join the road to Macklin Celebrini, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button. It means a lot to us, and you won't miss out on any of the Blackhawks content that you do want to see. I'm going to start this one off here, though, with obviously another record Connor Bedard has set in his young career. This comes out, well, from pretty much everybody. He was announced the youngest All-Star of all time. He announced the All-Star Game last night when the NHL released the Western Conference ones. Blackhawks put this out. Connor Bedard is the youngest player in NHL All-Star Game history, as well as another article from The Athletic here, saying that the Blackhawks rookie Connor Bedard became the youngest NHL hit in history to be selected to the All-Star Game on Thursday. Bedard, who is currently 18 years old, with 171 days, will edge out Buffalo Sabres forward Jeff Skinner, who previously held that record at being 18 years old and 259 days in the 2011 All-Star Game. And, this was bound to happen. Bedard was really the only one on this team who was a lock for the All-Star Game. Obviously, they can get voted in, so do make sure to go put your votes in for your favorite players. Try and get them into the All-Star Game. But Bedard was certainly the choice for the Chicago Blackhawks, and, I think everybody expected that. Another record for his history books, the youngest in All-Star Game history, which is nothing to pass over. Obviously, the All-Star Game has gotten, it's gotten a bit worse over the past few years, but they're going back to the draft format, which is an awesome thing. I enjoyed it so much when they had that originally a couple of years ago, and that's when the All-Star Game was at its peak, and they're going back to it, so maybe we see another great All-Star Game here with Connor Bedard this year, but obviously, Bedard just kind of shows again, once again, how good he's been, how much of a anomaly he's been on this team compared to the rest of it, how confident he's been, how good he's been, and there's no shying away from that. Obviously, that is that's the highlight of this team right now is Connor Bedard, and we know there's a bit of a struggle right now, but having him go to the All-Star Game, getting to meet more of the NHL's top talent, getting to meet more of the NHL's top players, play with them. It's just super exciting for his development as well. It is a weekend of fun, but it's also, he's going to learn a lot. He's the type of player to go up and ask these guys, questions about their game, what he can improve on, what he needs to work on. And this is a perfect spot to do it with the NHL's top talent. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl not in, but likely will be voted in. Every one of the NHL's top talent will be there. And this is a perfect spot for him to go learn a bit more, meet some people, and just, maybe do some recruiting for the Blackhawks. We really never know, although, you don't really expect that at this point. But it's going to be very fun to watch here in a little bit. I think a few weeks when the All-Star Game comes around. And, Bedard, the obvious option. It's going to be very fun to watch him. I'm excited to see what he can do, what he's going to pull off, what he's going to try in this All-Star Game, what skills competition he'll be doing. But, that's not the big part of this video. We need to talk about the potential trade that I can see the Blackhawks be willing to do with someone who's been on the trade market lately, kind of an unexpected guy. We're going to go the massive trade. This is the question here. Will this possibly go down? And, we never really know. This player, though, is Morgan Frost, however. This is part of the Athletic Chris Johnson's top trade targets come the trade deadline. Now, usually, the Blackhawks, where they are in the standings right now, being at the bottom, they're not going to be really active as a buyer in the trade deadline. However, Chris Johnson has Morgan Frost here, and he's a bit of an anomaly in this trade deadline. He's not a UFA. He's not on an expiring contract. I'll also read the paragraph he has here. The 2017 first-rounder has been in and out of the lineup for the retooling Flyers, which is a bit surprising after he had 81 games last season. He's one of the youngest players to appear on this trade board and certainly does not need to be moved with 1 year beyond on this remaining contract, as a restricted free agent looming beyond that. Yes, there's an opportunity for the situation to go in a different direction, but Philadelphia is open for business, and Frost is a 24-year-old center with a 19-goal season already under his belt. The Flyers would consider about anything put in front of them right now. Now, this is a absolutely huge opportunity for the Blackhawks. We know that Kyle Davidson said they're not going to be buyers, they're not even going to be sellers, really, at this trade deadline. They're going to work with what they have and not do too much in free agency either. So if they want to make a move, I think Morgan Frost is an excellent option. Now, I'll give you a few reasons why. First one, obviously, being he's 24 years old. they're not going out and getting a guy who's 35. They're not going out and a guy who's 33. He's not old. He's 24 years old with a 19-goal season already under his belt. He's under contract for the next 2 years, and being an RFA after that is another obvious huge opportunity for the Blackhawks. They need some forwards right now. They really do. They're super, super hurt up front. They got their extra defenseman in Jacob Magna if they needed him. It's easier than calling up some of the AHL guys in the to bring them up, rush them into the NHL. Now they need their forward, and I think Morgan Frost would be a perfect option for this season as well as going into the future. He had a very, very good run in junior, as well as in the World Juniors. He had 8 points, I believe, in 5 games. But you can see here with Sault Ste. Marie in his last 2 years, he was absolutely fantastic. He was one of the top prospects going into this draft, being drafted 27th overall in the 2017 draft. But, like Chris Johnson said, he just hasn't found his spot on the Flyers. He's still a very good player, but the Flyers are open to anything, which is a huge opportunity for any team, but the Blackhawks especially. They have the ability to go out and trade for a guy like Morgan Frost. The Flyers are retooling, so I don't think they want too many picks, which Kyle Davidson don't want to move. I don't think they'd really want any, prospects either. I think they're going to be looking for an NHL-ready guy right now, which the Blackhawks do have a lot of in their hand. I think they'd be willing to move for a guy like Morgan Frost. And if it wasn't Morgan Frost, I don't really think it would be, likely then that they would be moved, But Morgan Frost, once again, I said, I'll pull up his contract here. 2 more years at $2.1 million. Obviously, the Blackhawks are not stricken with cap or anything. They're not in a bad spot whatsoever. But having the control for this year and next year, and then being an RFA, I think is really just too good for the Blackhawks to pass up. There's really no pressure on you. He's under your control at that point. And if the Philadelphia Flyers, which I'm kind of surprised are willing to move him and being so willing to move him, I think you have to at least look at it. You have to at least ask or see what they're looking for, see what they want in return for a guy like Morgan Frost. But a new location, a new team just will work out very well for Morgan Frost. Now, obviously, we know the Flyers are in a weird spot. They're good this season, but they really shouldn't be. Their team is all right, but it's nothing special. So they're kind of in a transition phase, trying to retool, not a rebuild. And, Morgan Frost is one of the guys they're looking to get rid of. So if the Blackhawks could make a move for Morgan Frost, if they could see what the the Flyers want, I think it's an excellent move to fill in, pair him alongside Bedard if they want to play him on the wing, play Bedard on the wing, put Frost at center. A second-line center, another obvious huge option that the Blackhawks could use going forward with the whole prospect pool they have. I think that Morgan Frost would be a fantastic option if available, and if they choose to actually take a look at him. But, obviously there's no engagement between these two teams right now. This is just a trade list, a trade bait list that was on The Athletic from Chris Johnson, his top trade targets going into the trade deadline. But, we said the Blackhawks, Kyle Davidson said the Blackhawks are not going to be active very much at the trade deadline, but if they do something, I really think it's for a guy like Morgan Frost, if not him. Someone who's under contract for a little bit, younger player, talented, but, probably not fitting in the team they're in. That's kind of what the Blackhawks need. They don't need to go out and get some old guys. They don't need prospects so much. They have a very good prospect pool. They're kind of looking for the guys around ages 22 to 25. And I think that is a perfect option for them, Morgan Frost being so available, but we never know what will happen. Obviously, it's all speculation, but I really think this is a perfect idea, a perfect fit for the Blackhawks in this scheme. So let me know what you think about Morgan Frost in the comments below. I'm curious to see what a lot of people think about him, if he'll be a good fit in Chicago, if you should pass up on him. Let me know. But that's all I got for this video. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.